E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories TV show. Live streaming now to millions of devices around the world on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, YouTube Live, Facebook live streaming. Our shows are available video on demand on these channels. And we broadcast daily, Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on these channels. On Mondays, Expanding Your Business. Tuesdays, Natural Health and Wellness. On Wednesdays, we cover mentoring our youth. And on Thursdays, our new show, Ideas Worth Knowing. And on Fridays, Women in Leadership. To be able to watch our television show on your favorite device, please go to e360tv.com and download the app for your favorite device. Brought to you by our producers and hosts, Jim Grant and donnaguinouard. Along with our host, Beata Severin Reed and Emersonbrantley. Supported by our admin team of Michaela Vidal and Gaia Guinois Balconi Leda. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. The Messages of Inspirational Stories is brought to you by a whole bunch of good guys. They're brought to you by the 6minutewebinar.com. Also, our new show on Thursday, Ideas Worth Knowing. Oh my goodness gracious. I got to tell you a little bit about them. Ideas Worth Knowing, they're still working on this site, but they've got a website up. It says ideasworthknowing.com. You can go there, and it's not complete yet, but you'll be able to get your library card from there. It's a complimentary card. Now, Mike Lewis and Emersonbrantley are spearheading that. They run the show on Thursdays, and these are all top-notch because Mike's got over 1,000 best-selling authors. And you can pick and choose books that can help you in your business, your personal life, whatever. And it's a wonderful program, and if you're having any trouble, if it's not getting up there or whatever, let me put Mike's email address up there. I got about 500 emails, ticker tapes here, so it might take me a little while to find them. But anyway, I will put Mike's email address up there, Mike Lewis, and he'll be, here it is, Mike Lewis at ideasworthknowing.com. And just get in touch with him. He'll be glad to take care of you there because these complimentary books, I'm one of the authors there, and I'm not one of the best-selling authors there. I hope I'm not the worst-selling author. But anyway, all of us are there, and Mike asked each and every one of us if we would be willing to give our expertise away to people out there. Rightfully so. And the answer was yes, because I'm honored to be in that group. The publicity that we get from that is well worth it. It really is. But the bottom line, and let me just say this very, very quickly. The bottom line in life, our calling in life is to be a blessing to others. And we got some people here today that's going to really bless you because they're willing to share their knowledge and expertise with you to help you enhance your overall health. And I just got to bring in fact, we got the 3G group here today, Grant, and Grant. Sound almost like a law firm, doesn't it? Let me get oh my goodness. Let me get my big brother here from, by a different mother. There's Dr. George Grant. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Thank you, brother. Good to see you, Jim.
Thank you. I tell you right now, we're so excited about today because we're going to be talking about something that everybody can relate to.
Yes.
And that is your overall health. I was talking to the other Dr. Grant, Kirsten, I think she pronounces her name. I'll see if I got that right. Is she giving me oh, she's shaking her head, yes. I told her, don't worry, I'll get the last name right. In fact, I'm just going to let her pop in here right now. And there she is. And we were talking right before the show because she says, I want to make sure we're going to be talking about what I got here. And I said, yep, that's it. So what did you say we're going to be talking about here? You had your notes. Do you still have them?
I do.
Okay.
Do. Enjoying a healthy lifestyle by eating healthy and controlling your weight.
Good deal. Yeah, that's very important, and that's what it's all about, because you have the birthright to enjoy a healthy lifestyle.
Yes.
Not only physically, but mentally. I got to mention my good buddy Bill Heinrich on this here, the 7 Levels of Truth. Oh, Bill and I, we go back a long ways. And this book here says it all. Now I want you to focus on this here. And I want you to get your mind on this as Dr. Grant and myself, the little Grant, little bitty mentally, that is. But this book, this 7 Levels of Truth, is for anyone that's seeking answers. And I love the way Bill puts this. Listen to this here. Your birthright is to enjoy the abundance of life, the love, the peace, and the joy life brings. And see, having a healthy, being able to enjoy your life, you're not going to enjoy your life if you're sick or if your body is not healthy. I mean, when I was in the hospital, had open heart surgery, I didn't think about going bowling or anything for some reason. It just never entered my mind. I don't know why. It's funny how when things like that, happen to you and you just don't think about things, I didn't think about going to the golf course. What I really thought about is, okay, can I get up enough and go over there and take that shower today? And I was able to. But anyway, I'm getting off topic here. Dr. Grant, you invited Dr. Kirsten Grant
Yes.
with us to be with us today. And I wanted you to share a little bit about what impresses you about her, and then we're going to have her be introduced. And we got a couple other guys in the back door. Reinhardt and Jeremy's with us, and we'll bring them in. But I wanted to get this kicked off right quickly like that. Go ahead.
What impressed me with Dr. Kirsten Grant, of course, beside she's very good looking and very young, very healthy and vibrant. I just loved her vibrations and energy, and she's committed to help women and men out there in their obesity journey, and she is one of the best person I think about. She's done lots of work on LinkedIn. I've got 17,900, and I always like her post. I always share her post, and she's just radiating this help, and she's very kind and extending her hands to help other people there who have problem with diabetes and obesity. We call it diabetes, which is now, it's the greatest epidemic in America today. It is not the COVID. Forget about the COVID for a minute. Diabetes is #1 epidemic affecting America and Canada and Europe and the whole world. Let's focus on what's affecting 40% of the population, obesity.
Yeah.
That's what killed my mom at age 45. I was 18 years young. So I did everything I can to focus on prevention, not intervention, which did not work in my case, in my mom and my dad. And I never see my grandparents. They also died from obesity and diabetes in their mid-50s. And here I am at 73. I know I look younger. Thanks very much. And you know what? I just follow everything I'm teaching my clients to do, how to live healthy to 101 by following proper lifestyle. It's all about lifestyle. It's all of the choices. We call it wellness by choice, not by chance.
Yeah.
And that's what Dr. Kirsten Grant and myself talked about on her show. And I invited her to come to my show, to my clients, and they love her. When can she come back? And she always asks about her. That's what I like about Dr. Kirsten Grant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm speechless, and that's a rarity.
Yeah. I hear you, because I like what you said about, her being committed.
Yes.
And, the attitude, you you got to picture yourself. One of the things that the 7 Levels of Truth and all the self-help books and The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale, which I love because I met him one time and I met him, did not know him, but I met him. I knew who he was because he was everywhere. But the thing that they really drive home, and Dr. Kirsten, I believe you can expand on this some. The very first thing that a person should do, forget want and forget desire, develop a mindset of where you want to be, develop the mindset of the type of person you want to be. If you want to have a healthy life, you got to start thinking healthy up here. And in my case, I had to cut out Snickers and Gatorade. That was my junk food. I could mainline either one of those and be good. But when you got to change your life, I mean, when the surgeon cranks up the chainsaw, and they're going to open you up, I mean, that's when you think, well, I think I'm going to make some changes here.
Agreed. A little motivation, just a smidge.
But when I talk about the mindset of framing the mental picture of who they want to be, I think that's very, very important because that helps with the mental roadmap as they go down the physical pathway of life. And would I be correct in that and saying it like that?
You are 100% correct. That is the foundation of my wellness practice. We just take 4 simple steps. Anytime I meet anyone, 4 simple steps. And they're like, just 4? Just 4. The first thing you do is identify what your real desire is, not the pant size, not the dress size. That's a superficial top layer desire. The second step is uncovering your values and your beliefs. Often, this is the reason why we're having problems losing weight. We suffer cognitive dissonance, where our desires and beliefs, we haven't identified what they are, but we do intrinsically know when they've been violated. Once we identify that, we can stop having holes punched in our proverbial emotional bucket. And then that's where all that energy is freed up now. And you can lose weight effortlessly without diets, without crazy workouts, and be happy while doing it. Imagine that.
One thing that I've learned about this, and Dr. Grant, I want you to pick up off of this, and we'll bring Jeremy on in just a few moments. But my subconscious mind, now, ladies and gentlemen, I don't normally admit this on live streaming TV, but don't tell anybody this, but my subconscious mind, I'm convinced, is not as smart as I think it is. Because it tells me when I get hungry that I need something, to eat. But in reality, what I really need is water. Yes. See, the subconscious mind, if your subconscious mind is like mine, it never grows up. They say growing old is mandatory, growing up is optional. Well, I never exercised that option. And when she said that I was 100, I'm sure glad she said % behind that, because I hope I didn't look 100 today. But really, that your mind will trick you like that, because a lot of people confuse thirst with hunger.
Yes.
And that derails the whole plan right there.
Yes. Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes. And you know what, Jim? You're absolutely correct. People sometimes act on sympathetic nervous system, which is fight, flight, fright, freeze. And when they are at that state, they actually crave sweets, crave simple carbohydrates, crave the SAD diet, standard American diet, which is not the healthiest diet in the world.
Oh,
so
no, not at all.
If we can just switch that mindset, as you mentioned, from sympathetic to parasympathetic, which is rest, digest, relax, stop and smell the roses, laugh, have a sense of humor like Jim Grant here, and then you'll be less stressed. You don't have to crave the bad stuff. So that is really, it's all about mindset. And that's what actually Jeremystone did to reverse his diabetes in less than
Yeah, let's
1 month.
bring Jeremy in here.
Yes, and he is
Now,
actually one of
Jeremy,
my best.
you're sitting beside a pretty girl there, so try and behave yourself. You know, I know that's tough for you.
I've never heard Dr. George Grant called that before. Oh,
Yeah,
no, you mean the other one. All right.
You know what, Jim? When I was doing the virtual voice scan for Dr. Kirsten Grant here, she's very knowledgeable. She knows all of the stuff about virtual scan. She never gave me a hard time. And then I come to Jeremy. I said, this is a 15, 20-second voice. I gave you 220 pages report. He said, really? Why don't every doctor in America do this? Why are you the only one who... He almost gave me a heart attack during this 1 hour session. But now he is actually one of the best clients out of my 25,000 clients worldwide, because they follow all my advice within 3 to 4 weeks. You know, Dr. Kirsten, you may not even know this. His blood sugar was as high as 400. His blood sugar now is 90. And his physician said, you know what, Jeremy, the 6th medication I've given you for 12 years now, I think start to work. He looked at him and said, anyway, I'm not going to talk about Jeremy's story. I'm letting get it from the horse's mouth, but he's not giving me a hard time anymore. So I love you, Jeremy.
Jim, he's asking for the horse to talk.
Is that right?
That's what he just said.
Yeah.
Out of the horse's mouth.
Out of the horse's mouth. Well, at least it's the front end of the deal, you know. I mean, you know.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. We can't say those words on live television.
That's right. That's right. That's right. But you know, it's really amazing how when we adjust our mind and we visualize
Yes.
from where we are to where we want to be, and you know, enjoy the journey. That's what a lot of people don't, because I love what Bill Heinrich says. No matter what's going on in your life, this is the perfect place for you. When you think about the problems you got, when you think about some of the things that you're faced with, you got to deal with, and we all have problems. You know, it's like me and Bill, we were on the radio show about 6-7 years ago, and Bill was co-hosting with me. Like I said, I'm Bill's co-host. He's my co-host, and together we just kind of like co-host along, you know, joking around on the radio there. And I just said, right before we went live, I said, Bill, what are we going to be talking about today? And he actually said, we went live, and before I got his answer, and Bill says, Jim, today we're going to talk about my life is messed up and yours is too. I said, Bill, we're live, you know. And we just made a joke out of it, but it's so important to realize no matter what's going on in your life right now, you're at the perfect place for you. Take a deep breath and relax. I saw something today that I was going to write down, and I'm going to paraphrase it out of my memory. So, me being 75, and I'm so smart I can't even keep an earplug in. How about that? But it said, what causes stress is not the problems in our life.
Yeah.
It is that we want to control them.
Yes.
We want to control the problem, make them go away, you know. That's what creates stress. So whatever's happening, take a deep breath and relax. Roll with the punches. Life is, I heard it said one time, and I'm going to use this analogy, and I'm going to turn this back over to the two Dr. Grants there, or Jeremy. But I heard a guy talking one time on stage. He said, ladies and gentlemen, life is like a prize fight. When a prize fighter gets in the ring, he knows he's going to get hit, you know. And every now and then he's going to get up, be on the ropes and take some punches. But the ones that survive, they roll with the punches. They learn how to exhale and let the pressure come out of their body when they're getting hit and all that. And they use that time to actually rest. I didn't know that. They could actually use that time to rest a little bit and also evaluate their opponent and see whether they can get an opening. But the point of it is, when you feel like your back's up against the wall, take a deep breath and relax and give thanks, because this is the perfect place for you, because this is not the end of your journey. This is just a flat tire on the side of the road that you're going to either change or have somebody help come and change it for you. But once you get that tire fixed, You're going to be like at the lyrics of Shania Twain's song, I'm out of here, you know. And your broken Spanish, you can say el mucho, el hadioso, and goodbye-o. That sounds a little bit like a little bit like a '70s Fred Sanford there a little bit, doesn't it? A little flashback for some young people. Don't worry about it. You don't even know who that is. But you know, Dr. Grant, both of you, whoever wants to take this lead, giving thanks for where they are right now. That's a starting point, isn't it?
100%. It's ABC. The A, attitude of gratitude. So once you have the attitude of gratitude and you're thankful, then you have less stress. And by the way, as you mentioned, Jim, there's no escape from stress. Dr. Hans Selye said, the absence of stress is death. So if you're waiting until you have an absence of stress, just wait until maybe you go to 100 and then you die and then you have no stress in your life. So we have to actually cope with this. I mean, there's no escape from this. So like it's a simple thing I put on my website. It's the love, learn, listen, let go, laugh, like Jim, and leave a legacy. If you actually follow this, your life will be less stressful.
Yeah,
and you'll be able to cope with that, regardless if you have a problem with the commute, if you have a problem with a problem with a boss, problem with a spouse, problem with teenagers. It's all happening. It's not going to disappear. It's not going to vanish until. So that's really my attitude, is attitude of gratitude.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dr. Grant, Kirsten, in your practice, what are some of the things that you see people need to do a mental discharge of? What is some of the baggage that they come in, and they're looking to blame something sometimes? What has been your experience in that arena, please?
Well, you know, it's really interesting. When I've worked with people that are struggling with weight loss and obesity, it usually, after we whack through all their challenges, it comes down to identifying where is that violation with their value and belief system. What do they consider to be a priority? Where I had one woman, for example, that she was fussing with her husband over him buying too much Snapple. And that stress was causing her to binge eat on Pop-Tarts. Now, you would say, well, my goodness, if they're fussing over Snapple, the budget must be pretty tight. No, they were both high six-figure earners in the upper six figures. So I think, and we both chuckled about it. I said, so I think we can comfortably say that you can afford, and your husband can afford, 3 bottles of Snapple that you drink a day. So the battle that you're having is not over the Snapple. It's over something deeper. And when you cling to the energy of that and the mindset of that, it makes you weary. And when your defenses are lowered and your psychology and your mindset is so weak, your brain and body love you. And people don't know that. Your body and your mind love you. It doesn't love you in the way that you love you, where you say you want to lose weight. It loves you in the way of homeostasis. So go for the sweet item that calms you. In her case, Pop-Tart. Go for the salty item that calms you. In the case of crackers and potatoes, those, if people lean in that direction, your body is trying to maintain homeostasis. It wants you to be happy. The key and the onus is on us to understand, what do I really want? Once you understand what you really want, then the next question you need to ask is, what potential have I turned my back on that is really a possibility? Once we start cracking those subjects open, a whole shift happens, and we can build from that.
I can see that. Yeah, it makes a lot of sense when you explain it like that, because, you know, we always run for that crutch to help us limp along. We always do. And, you know, people have heard this story before a couple of times, and I had a hernia repair, and I was stuck at home, and my wife didn't want me to go anywhere, and so she hid my truck keys. And I really wanted to get out of the house. And this goes away. This is back many years ago. I looked out there and saw my Ford tractor, and I go, okay, I can take a 2x4, a short 2x4, and I can push that clutch down and shift gears, and I can drive that thing. There ain't no problem. I can drive anything, really. I can drive anything but get an airplane off the ground, really. And I can drive a tank, whatever. Anyway, I decided I was just going to get out of the house after being cooped up for almost 3 weeks. Right up the road, about a mile. I live out in the country on paved road and all. Right up the road there, go into the little convenience store there they got there, and I picked up a Snickers, and I picked up a pack of crackers and a Gatorade. And so I'm eating it on the way back, and I'm drinking it. And so when I get home, parked the tractor, and I took all the bottle and the paper, and I put it in stuffed it down inside the trash bag, inside the trash can. So got away scot-free, right? And my wife comes home. She says, "How'd you do today?" So I did fine. What'd you do today? What'd you been up to? I said, "Oh, nothing." Little did I know, ding dong, as my luck would have it, the neighbor lady over here, she can tell you if a parakeet lands in a pine tree, okay? Obviously, she saw me, Then she's at the grocery store, and Evelyn and her met. "Oh, I saw Jim today." "You saw Jim?" "Yeah, he's out on his tractor." "He went up the road." I guess he went up to the station up there and came back down the road. And she's wanted to know what I was doing out there. So anyway, my point being is that in that moment, I justified why I needed that. See, I could have got out and gotten the fresh air anyway. I didn't treat my body.
Yes.
I treated my craving. I treated
Yes.
my weakness. That's where I'm going with this story. I know it's long and boring. I know George has heard it 2 or 3 times. And, but by him knowing me, he could see me doing that, and I did it. I was glad to get back home off that tractor because it bounced you up pretty good, And, but I didn't realize I was caving into my weakness, self-justifying, because I could have went outside, sit in the sunlight, drink some water, and just give thanks for the day. I would have been better.
Yes.
Mentally, I'd have been better physically, and I wouldn't have got my butt chewed too. Because
Yes.
when us guys, when we do things like that, it's a good way to do some hard time in the hacienda. You know what I mean? And Jeremy,
Yeah.
you've been kind of quiet there. I mean, I don't want you to follow that story with something you've been doing, because I know you'd never do anything like that. But listening to what Kirsten said there and Dr. Grant said, and we talk about the mental attitude, when it came to you conquering all, your health, because you had some serious health issues, in addition to being diabetic, you also had that, what do you call that, when your feet were on fire, the burning of the souls? So what's that
Neuropathy.
called? Yeah. Oh my goodness. And that was an ongoing thing, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was
And
long time.
yeah, and after Dr. Grant scanned you and told you what you need to do, you had to say, this is it at that point. You had to do that mental mind shift. Am I correct?
Well, I'm not so much in my case that it was about, the mindset. I think there's a couple of different issues. Mindset's super, super important in everything, whether it comes to your health, your wellness, your business, anything like that. But for me, it was really just knowing the options as well, because we're so ingrained and taught from little kids to do what our doctors tell us to do, right? So here I was diagnosed with this in 2012, and I'm put on this medication, and that didn't help, so they added another medication, so that didn't fix it, so they added another medication, and by the end of it all, I'm at 6 medications, right? And I'm taking the highest dosages of insulin that one could take. I have neuropathy. My feet are on fire every single day. I'm in tears every night with my wife. And I'm on, these painkillers that that, they just keep telling me I have to keep taking higher doses for the rest of my life, that I can't reverse the neuropathy, that it's irreversible. I see you put your finger up. You trying to stop me?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just,
All right. Just
no,
want
go
to make
ahead.
sure that I'm not overrunning your show,
No,
Jim.
you go ahead. No, you go ahead. No.
All right. So,
I was going to give Reinhardt a heads up. I'm going to be bringing him in, so he's been sitting back here.
So,
He was taking a nap. Go ahead.
Yeah, we're just taught to put all of our faith in, in what our doctors tell us to do, and it's when I met Dr. Grant, I had the AO scan done, and you don't really, I mean, the AO scan is kind of cool. It's a great thing, but that's not really what changed it in my life. The AO scan didn't do anything for me, right? All it did was put some validity in what Dr. Grant told me that I could do afterwards, right? So that's it. It just made me listen to him a little bit, and then when he told me some natural ways to work on my diabetes, and some natural nutritional stuff to do, I did that. I didn't realize that was an option before. I didn't consider myself. I didn't eat lots of candy. I didn't go get sticker cars all the time. I liked bread and pasta. That was something that was a core staple of my diet. All the time. But I didn't pork out, to say or anything like that. And I wasn't grossly obese. I had some extra pounds. But it wasn't anything. So really for me, it was learning the options. And then when I said, okay, well, the 6 medications and the $350 a month copay that I'm paying on them is not working. What do I have to lose, right? To try something natural, I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a shot, and if it works, it works, and if not, sayonara. I gave it a shot. I'm always willing to try something, right?
Yeah.
So I think that was the big thing. But then once I began to see those results, then the mindset kicked in that, okay, this is going to work, and I'm going to stick to this, right? And I'm going to make that shift from this to that. Just getting the proper nutrition and everything. I don't crave pasta no more. I've cut the breads out. I've cut the pasta out. I eat a lot more vegetables and greens and stuff. My blood sugar's under control. My neuropathy that was irreversible, according to the medical doctors and Google, is gone. It's gone. And I'm not taking meds. I'm not taking any medications anymore. Now, Dr. Grant didn't tell me to stop taking my medications. I did that on my own because my blood sugar kept tanking, right? Because I just made this natural nutrition shift. So, it's a mindset is really important. But I think that, we also, it's always amazing to me as a diabetic that people are always really quick to say that alcoholics and drug addicts have a disease, but they don't recognize that sugar is an addiction.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It is an addiction. And so getting those, and I told my wife that after the first month, she sent me go get her some candy, and I'm literally standing in the candy aisle. I get her stuff, and I'm standing there, and I keep looking at my favorite candy, right? And I'm struggling back and forth. I'm fighting myself inside, and I go and grab it and stick it in my cart, and then I'm going, no, I'm not going to, and I stick it back on the shelf. And I went home and I told her, I said, asking me to get you a snack is like sending a recovering alcoholic to the liquor store to buy your beer. That's not, it's just an addiction. So I had to overcome that issue that, I'm not going to let this addiction control me. Right. I'm going to be in control of my own health.
Now, before I bring Reinhardt on, I want to ask Dr. Grant there about our website, edibleaddiction.com. That is pretty doggone neat, isn't it? Edibleaddiction.com. Does that come with whipped cream or not? I mean, strawberry on top? I'm being facetious here. No, but share a little bit about how you came about that name, because I know a lot of, like all websites, thinking goes into it, because this is, your website is your cause. It's what drives you. So, edible addiction.
I actually admit I have to give credit, and I'm going to probably regret making this statement. I won't be able to live it down. I have to give credit to my husband on this one.
Okay.
Once in a while, every 10,000 years, he's correct.
Is he awake when he's correct?
We were discussing the website. I needed a
Yeah.
sound for it regarding the mission and the mission of helping people that are struggling with food addiction and obesity and just the constant struggle to get healthy. And he said it's like an addiction and
Yeah.
it's edible. He says, so why don't you call it edible addiction?
Mm.
And from that, I said, you know what? That sounds innovative and different. Let's go with that.
Yeah, it's
So,
simple and it's easy.
I'm never going to live this down once he sees this, but I'm
Yeah.
going to be honest.
Yeah. You know, what's amazing is that, you know, some people, you know, they have these big, long websites and stuff. And like we got one that's kind of ridiculous because it was put in there because we had messages of inspirational stories. And then I changed it to something easy peasy, mytvshow.live. Because it's simple, easy to remember, and all you do is just, you know, do a redirect at your, you know, whoever handles your domains, and boom, chicky boom, you're there. But I'm going to invite Reinhardt in. I met him a little bit briefly yesterday, and let me bring him in here a little bit. Oops, I just cut everybody off there, didn't I? I'm not. Sometimes I'm good at pushing buttons, and sometimes I'm not. That time I wasn't. So, but Reinhardt, you've been very patiently sitting backstage there, listening to everyone. And what is some of the things that, how can I say, triggered a thought in your mind or open your mind to think in a different direction or anything of that nature? Would you be kind enough to share that with us?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, thanks. It's a great pleasure to be on here with you great folks, and nice to meet Dr. Kirsten Grant.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these.
Bye, George. There's George.
Yeah, and this is the first time we meet. So, no, there's a lot of things that came to mind and that triggered some thoughts. You know, me being a person of faith and having lived in the South for many years, I've gone to churches and the church potlucks and everything. And, you know, some of the stuff that they put on the tables is horrible. It's so much garbage. And I have come to the conclusion, you know, the two major or the two main tolerated sins for which no pastor gets fired is obesity and anxiety or fear. But you made me realize when you talked about this homeostasis that is calming down, it starts with a fear. Because people are anxious and fearful, they get addicted to food because it calms them down. So there's a strong connection. I have to remember that. That's awesome. I realized that. And then also you mentioned about letting go. And it's something that some of you may know the story. Shall I briefly tell you what I experienced there and how important that is?
Absolutely.
It's a life and death situation that I was in, actually. I had the opportunity to fulfill a childhood dream of mine to get a private pilot's license. And on my third solo flight, I was so excited to get on that as a student pilot. And I had to practice how to recover from a stall at 2,500 feet. And as I was slowing down the plane, and I remember I was all by myself in that little two-seater Cessna. So I pulled up the plane to slow it down, and I expected the nose to drop, but the left wing dropped before the right wing, and I got into a graveyard spiral.
Oh, wow.
So my heart sank.
Oh, yeah.
With only 12 hours of flight training, I had no idea on how to get out of this alone. The earth was turning like a disc in front of me, and the instruments showed the rapid descent. I was wondering whether there was anything that I could do. But nothing I tried slowed down the race towards the ground. I realized it would take a miracle to get me out of this graveyard spiral. After dropping 1,000 feet out of the sky, I finally let go of all the controls and said, God, take this plane. In an instant, I got into a straight and level flight with only 1,500 feet left above the ground. Had I held on to the controls just a few more seconds, I would have crashed that plane. So again, it literally saved my life to let go. And as I was sharing this story with a woman at work, she said, "You just ministered to me." That's, and I said, "How?" And she replied, "Well, you just made me realize what I need to let go." And I'm so relieved.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why that is so important, that we do let go of whatever it may be in our lives, a lot of stress, control. You guys mentioned control, let go of control. Because a lot of these stress situations also lead not only to this stress eating,
Yes.
but also to all kinds of psychosomatic illnesses.
Yes.
And that's what I experienced actually before I was fired on my last job at the age of 59. I saw a lot of people in that very toxic environment in which I worked, getting heart attacks, getting strokes, and having issues. And I said, that's not what I want. And I actually got diverticulitis, which I later found out that it was also a psychosomatic reason for it. Because I read in a very thick book about psychosomatic illnesses, potential causes for diverticulitis. And I could not believe how the emotions they described there were just uncannily similar to what I went through. So yeah, it's huge. So a lot of what you guys are saying is so important, and mindset, especially mindset.
Yeah, I'd like to share something, if I may. People ask me when I went in for the surgery, and I don't want to get into a big deal about it, but I went in for stents, and that's when the cardiologist had said, you got the widowmaker. And that's when that thing raised its ugly head. He saw it. He couldn't put the stents in, so you're going to need open heart surgery. People have asked me how I felt at that moment. And the best word and the most accurate word was frustrated. Because I've been in the hospital since Friday night. It's Monday morning. Now I'm an outpatient. And they're telling me I'm going to feel great. They're telling me I'm going to go home by noon, yada-da-da-da. And now I find out I got to go from there. They're going to put me in ICU, and I got to have open heart surgery. And I just kind of and actually I just said to myself, I said, well, Lord, it's in your hands. If the surgery goes well, I'll go home. If it doesn't go well, I'll still go home. But what shocked me, you understand everything instantly at that moment, because I had something, just a feeling of love had come over me. I understood everything instantly. Just like you go in a dark room, flip on the light lights up the entire room. I knew the surgery would go well. I knew the recovery would go well. I knew the prayers had been answered. I knew that I was safe. I knew there was nothing that could touch me. But I also understood something else. I felt this presence here. I didn't see anything. And I'm still tracking what the cardiologist is saying, about taking the veins out of my legs. I'm just glad they didn't take it out of my neck, But anyway, to do the bypasses. And this entity, I understood that it's been wanting to come to me to let me know all of this, but I wouldn't let it in. You know why? All the way through the hospital, I'm thinking for this, I'm thinking for that, I'm thinking for the hospital, the doctors, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And if someone would come in and say, hey, he's got a great attitude, he's got a lot of faith. But what I did not realize I was doing, I was not letting go. I was saying, hey, I got this. Piece of cake. You got me here, I can do it the rest, And that that's a wake-up call. Kind of shocked me. It's kind of like what you has described there, and you just decided to let go of the controls. Best thing you could have done, And, excuse me.
Yeah, there's another thought that comes to mind, actually, something that you said at the very beginning. We have a right to feel comfortable or to do well, or all those things. We can also think about it this way, because some people feel almost guilty when they have ambitions, because they connect ambitions always with selfish ambitions. But when you have the ambition to be healthy, you have the ambition to expand your capacity to serve, to give. You're not a burden to the healthcare system. You can shovel your own driveway, of snow. You don't have to go to the neighbor and ask for help, or you can even help them. So I mean, if you feel guilty about self-care, think about it this way. You increase your capacity to serve others.
Yeah.
So it's
And
not
I'm-
selfish at all. It's not
And
selfish.
I'm going to go back to Dr. Kirsten here. In your practice and what you do in helping people to deal with addiction, that's what we're talking about here is addiction. And it comes in all forms. You know, let me just ask you one thing. Can you name one person? You know, don't not the real name or anything. You might call different name, obviously. But can you think of one person that maybe came to you that you didn't know whether or not you could help them, but you know there was a struggle for you. It texted you out, you know, texted out your resources and all that, and share that story. And then how did you feel after they came around?
You know,
Probably been many, huh?
no, no. It's never on my end a situation where I encounter someone that I don't feel that I can't help. I have rarely ever encountered that. What I have encountered is the person, do they feel that they are worth it? Are they
Oh,
comfortable with walking away from the old and the convenience of that old identity? Because once you're free of these problems that you keep saying are plaguing you, that keep forcing you to go towards the item that you're addicted to in terms of food, that's a very uncomfortable spot. It's no longer convenient anymore. The default used to be, oh, I'm stressed, I'm an angry person, for example, or I am a worried person. How many times have all of us heard someone say that I'm just a worrywart? I'm just that type of personality. I'm just a grumpy person. I'm not a morning person. Fill in the blank. Well, imagine a world where you were no longer that. Are you comfortable with what's on the other side? That is the $10 million question. I only have to talk to someone for 15 minutes, really, and be able to put the pieces together and understand what happened and create a path and create a journey for you and outline the steps. That's never been my problem. I've been in this for a long, long time, and I've seen it up close and personal with my mother, who I lost to food addiction and obesity years ago. So I'm real familiar with ascertaining what your challenge is in 15 minutes or less. The question is, are you ready for your transformation? Do you wish to stay comfortable? Because sometimes comfort doesn't always equal convenience.
Yeah.
Well, I'd say probably all the time. You know, I mean, success and growth is always on the other side of your comfort zone. You cannot grow in your comfort zone. It just doesn't happen. You know, you have to have, it's the law of the rubber band. You know, you have to have the stretch. A rubber band is useless unless it's stretched, right? What good is a rubber band to you until you stretch it? It's growth is on the other side of that comfort zone, and that's the number one mistake. People don't understand that people get comfortable in their misery, right? When you exist in a place of discomfort for so long, it becomes your comfort zone. It is more uncomfortable to change than it is to remain in your physical pain, in your emotional pain, in your relational pain, right? All of this. So we learn to become comfortable with our uncomfortableness, and it's more scary for us.
Yes.
I'm going to preach here. It's more scary for us, right, to change, to move outside that comfort zone than it is to remain in a place where we're unhappy, we're depressed, we're sick, we're in pain, because we've become used to it, right? And once you become used to it, then you don't want to change it, because I can manage being depressed. I know what that is. I can manage being sick because I know what that feels like. But the unknown on the other side, that change outside the comfort zone, even though I believe and I dream that it could be such a better life, the journey to get there, right, is more scary than it is to stay where I'm at.
Yes.
And a lot of times
you
people don't believe it.
Yeah.
You know, people deep down inside don't believe it. because there's been times in my life when I've listened to with like the strangest secret when I heard that for the first time. I'm going like, is that really true? You know, and there's self-doubts there because our subconscious mind is so programmed to think negative naturally because we're born into a world of survival.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's just, you know, think about, you know, how many times our life an idea comes to us and we start to call somebody. Well, I don't think I'm very call them because, you know, they'll probably say, "You're who and you want what? What? Do I know you? Goodbye." You know, because we don't like rejection. But the moral of that story is, like W. Clement Stone talks about, if you have nothing to lose, go ahead and ask anyway. You know, what's the big deal? I mean, the more no's you get, you're closer to a yes or anything like that. But the point where I'm trying to take this on that note is the fact that don't let your subconscious mind rule you. It can't tell right from wrong, really. I mean, you know, it can't. It's kind of like the soul. If you plant a weed out there that's poisonous or a corn, it's just going to grow what you plant.
Yeah.
It doesn't really know that, and the subconscious mind is like a child. It's like you know, the sky is falling. Oh my goodness, you know. But I like what Jeremy said there. You got to come out of your comfort zone. You got to be willing to say, "Hey, I'm going to get up there, and I'm going to try." Because you know, like one of the records that Babe Ruth, a great baseball player that he was, one of the records that he held for many years, I don't know if he still holds it or not, was strikeouts.
Yeah.
But he didn't go up to the plate and think, "Oh, I hope I don't strike out here," you know. He went up there with the confidence, if I hit this thing, this puppy's gone. I'm gonna have that pitcher up there praying as he's pitching.
Jeremy and Reinhardt, you both are such prolific, amazing men. Not to leave you out, Dr. Grant. I enjoyed you sharing your insight, especially Reinhardt in regard to the plane. You had a choice there too. You could have kept holding on to that. And I really respect and enjoyed your story because I had a client that's in flight school and he's struggling with trying to get over 10,000 feet. He locks up and freezes up and he keeps just flagging himself emotionally with a cat of nine tails emotionally every time he fails at that. And that causes him to binge eat at night. So when you were sharing your story about just letting go, you had to make a choice to change in that instant. Now, Jeremy, you're right in terms of making that choice inconvenience. For Reinhardt, it would have been really inconvenient if he hadn't made the choice to change.
Yeah. In other words, you wouldn't be here today visiting with us on that. Took some guts to let go of that. It really did. I got to tip my hat to you on that one.
Yes.
Just between me and you, my toenails.
I don't think I really had another choice.
Yeah. I'll tell you right now. You know? One thing for sure, if I'd have been you and coming off that plane in that situation, I would have had to trim my toenails because they would have grown right through my socks. I know that for a fact.
3 hours later, I went back in the cockpit alone.
Way to go. Got back in there. Way to go.
Because I didn't want that fear to build up, you know.
We went a little bit over today. We're running out of time, but this has been such a great show.
Yeah.
Kirsten, I want to bring you back again and go through some more about what you're doing. Maybe we can do it next Tuesday because I want to continue on about that. And because you got some great information to share. We did not have enough time to get into it today, so we'll get together on that. And because I definitely want to have you back. Besides that, your last name is real easy for me to remember.
All three of us at the top are very easy last names.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you. But really, I do, because I want to bring, you got some more information we need to talk about. like your secret to weight loss motivation, how to use EFT, tapping, yoga sound bath, meditations.
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds like that'd be fun. I mean, I'm just a guy thinking, don't throw the tomatoes at me.
And
But no, I want to get more into that and give you a chance to share that with the audience.
one tip, Jim, never say impossible. You have to put an apostrophe, say, I am possible.
I am possible.
I've seen a client in 1998. He was 79. He had 99% clogged arteries. He was taking 28 meds, 2 bypass, 2 stents. His cardiologist said it's an impossible case. Send him to hospice to die. 1998. In 1999, after changing his lifestyle, get him to drink more water than diet soda, get him to eat all of the healthy stuff. His wellness IQ was 15%. He was actually walking dead. Okay? And then now he has no medication. In 1999, guess what? Still alive, and he's 101. So never say something is impossible. Jeremy wellness IQ was 33 when I started with him. Today he's 88. And that's why he looks smarter, actually. That's the reason for that. So, and I enjoy his comments about all of the stuff that he shared with us today. I want to thank Dr. Kirsten Grant. Thank you, Reinhard, for being amazing survivor and thriver. And Jim, keep up this good sense of humor, because you're not going to live till 101. You live till 111, because that's my newest. 111. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to break Social Security in that case. But Reinhard, if we ever go flying in a plane, I see you let go of the controls, I'm going to think, hey, we're in good hands now. Just kidding. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for tuning in on behalf of our guest today. My goodness, we hope that we've shared some information with you. Tune in next week, next Tuesday, and we're going to see if Dr. Kirsten Grant can be back with us. And I got something. I was eating peanuts before the show, and I still got stuff in my throat. So
Were they chocolate covered?
No. I sacrificed.
We're just cold peanuts.
Yeah, they're right out of the ground. But anyway, we want to be back next week and share some more great information with you. And ladies and gentlemen, most importantly, the main thing in life is to remember to love yourself first, then you can love others. And have enough love for yourself and for others that if there's a person, place, or thing in your life you cannot change, love them enough to let them go. Because if you don't, and you embrace that misery, they own you. That's the bottom line. And you are worthy to enjoy the abundance of love, happiness, and health. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you. Thank all you folks over there in India and Pakistan who write us and let us know how well you like the show. We're honored that you chose to spend time with us. That's how much we value your viewership. And we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the mentoring our youth. And me and Adam Green will be here, so be sure and tune in. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.